Hello everyone, welcome back to the new video of AP Knowledge Point. What if I told you that in just 1 week, India China relations may be entering a new phase? India's National Security Advisor would be in Beijing. A major BRICS summit is approaching. India's economy has posted one of its strongest growth numbers, and an Indian startup has demonstrated a futuristic engine that sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie. And wait, there are also important developments in pension policy, healthcare, defense, sports, and international relations. So, today we are going to understand 10 major current affairs developments in such a way that you can understand easily. At the end, I will ask you 5 exam level questions. Let us see how many of you can answer. Let us begin. India and China is a new chapter beginning. Let's begin with one of the most important stories, India and China. You already know that relationships between India and China became extremely tense after the 2020 Galwan Valley clash. But now there are signs of diplomatic engagement. On August 24, 2026, India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval arrived in Beijing for the 25th round of India China Special Representatives talks. He is meeting China's Foreign Minister and Special Representative Wang Yi. The official Chinese Foreign Ministry says the 25th round of talks is scheduled for August 25. But what exactly are these talks about? The main issue is the India China boundary question. The disputed border stretches for thousands of kilometers. The Special Representatives Mechanism was established in 2003 to work towards a comprehensive solution to the boundary question. Now comes the interesting part. Chinese President Xi Jinping is expected to visit India for the BRICS summit in New Delhi on September 12 to September 13 of 2026. If it happens, it would be Xi's first visit to India in 7 years. Reports also suggest that he could bring a very large delegation. But remember this carefully. As of now, the visit is expected, not something we should describe as officially confirmed. Why is this important? Because diplomacy works through communication. India can cooperate with China in areas where interests overlap, while simultaneously protecting India's security and territorial interest. And this brings us to a very important exam question. Points to be noted. Special representatives talks of India and China boundary question. India's special representative Ajit Doval. China's special representative Wang Yi. 25th round of talk in August 2026. Let us see a question. Who is India's special representative for the India China boundary talks? S. Jaishankar, Ajit Doval, Rajnath Singh, and Amit Shah. The answer is Ajit Doval. Note it down. Next, India's economy. What does 8.2% of GDP growth actually mean? Now let us talk about something students often find boring, GDP. But don't worry, I will explain it in 30 seconds. Imagine your family produces goods and services worth rupees 100 this year. Next year, if the value becomes rupees 108, that's roughly 8% growth. GDP is essentially a measure of the value of goods and services produced in an economy. Now, here comes the important current affairs number. India recorded 8.2% real GDP growth in quarter 2 of financial year 2025 to 2026, compared with 5.6% in the same quarter of the previous year. The official release says the secondary and tertiary sectors helped push first half of financial year 2025 to 2026 growth up to 8%. Remember the correction. Don't write quarter 2 of the financial year 2026. Write quarter 2 of the financial year 2025 to 2026. This is exactly the kind of small detail that can decide an MCQ. Why is GDP important? Because GDP growth tells us about the overall expansion of economic activity. Think about factories, banks, IT companies, transport, construction, restaurants, government services, and agriculture. All contribute to economic activity. Point to be noted. Quarter 2 of financial year 2025 to 2026, real GDP growth is 8.2%. Now don't just memorize the number, understand the concept. A unified pension scheme. What is UPS? Imagine you are a government employee. You work for decades. After retirement, one major question is, what will my financial security look like? This is where the Unified Pension Scheme or UPS becomes important. The scheme came into effect from April 1, 2025. For employees with at least 25 years of qualifying service, the assured pension is linked to 50% of the average basic pay drawn over the last 12 months before retirement, subject to the scheme conditions. The scheme also includes provisions relating to family pension, minimum assured pension, and inflation linked DNS relief. Here's how to remember it. UPS is equal to pension plus contribution plus inflation protection. Here is an important exam trick. Don't confuse UPS with the old pension system or NPS. A question may be asked, which pension scheme came into effect from April 1, 2025? The answer would be Unified Pension Scheme. 75,000 new medical seats. Imagine a student who wants to become a doctor but doesn't get a medical seat. India has been expanding medical education capacity. A major target announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the addition of 75,000 medical seats over 5 years. Why is this important? Because more medical seats can mean more opportunities for students, more doctors, greater healthcare capacity, and potentially better access to medical education. If you are in class 9, 10th, 11th, or 12th and thinking, I want to become a doctor, this isn't just a current affairs fact. It is directly connected to your future. So remember, 75,000 new medical seats is the new target. India's green energy vision. Let us move from medicine to the environment. India has set ambitious renewable energy goals. One major target is 500 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity by 2030. Another major area is green hydrogen. But what is green hydrogen? Think of hydrogen as a clean energy carrier. If hydrogen is produced using renewable electricity, such as solar or wind, the process can have much lower associated carbon emission than conventional hydrogen production. India wants to become a major player in this emerging energy economy. Point to be noted. 2030, 500 gigawatt of renewable energy and green hydrogen to give future clean energy. India and Singapore. Semiconductors plus digital payments. Here is a partnership students should remember. India and Singapore have been strengthening cooperation in areas including semiconductors, digital payments, green energy. So, why semiconductors? Because almost everything around us uses chips. Your smartphones, laptop, car, satellite, medical equipment, defense systems, even smart appliances. So, semiconductor capability is not just an economic issue, it is also a strategic issue. And digital payments? India's digital payment ecosystem has become an important part of India's technology story. Point to be noted: India Singapore Corporation, semiconductor plus digitalization plus green energy. India's futuristic engine, rotating detonation engine. Now, this is perhaps the coolest science story of the episode. Imagine an engine where instead of ordinary combustion, a powerful detonation wave continuously travels around a chamber. Sounds futuristic, right? This is the idea behind a rotating detonation engine, that is RDE. Indian defense propulsion startup D-Propulus demonstrated an indigenous 5kN air-breathing rotating detonation engine integrated with an aerospike nozzle. The reported demonstration achieved technology readiness level 5 validation. But what does 5kN mean? Kn means kilonewton, a unit of force. 5kN means approximately 5000 newtons of thrust. And what makes RDE interesting? Traditional engines generally use relatively steady combustion. RDE technology uses a detonation wave that travels around a combustion chamber. This can potentially enable more efficient propulsion. Potential future applications include advanced aerospace and defense platforms. But remember, this is a developing technology. A successful ground demonstration does not mean India already has an operational RDE powered fighter or hypersonic aircraft. Point to be noted: D Propulus 5kN indigenous air breathing RDE. RDE means rotating detonation engine. Technology used is advanced propulsion. INS Mangrol and India's naval indigenization. Now let us go underwater. The Indian Navy is strengthening its indigenous capabilities. INS Mangrol is an anti-submarine warfare shallow water craft. So what's its job? Think about submarines. They operate underwater and can be difficult to detect. Anti submarine warfare, or ASW, is about detecting and responding to underwater threats. These vessels are designed specifically for the operations in shallow coastal waters. Point to be noted: ASW, Anti Submarine Warfare, and INS Mangrol is ASW shallow water craft. This is important for India's maritime security. Paradip Port rupees 427.80 crore projects. Now let us move to Odisha. Union Minister Sarbananda Sonowal inaugurated 7 major projects at Paradip Port worth around rupees 427.80 crore. Why should an exam aspirant care about a port? Because ports are critical to international trade. India imports, India exports, India imports, and much of this trade moves through maritime routes. So, ports are directly connected with trade plus logistics plus industry plus economic growth. Point to be noted: Paradip Port, Odisha, projects of about rupees 427.80 crore. Indonesia and Malaysia, cloud seeding. Now let us travel to Southeast Asia. Forest fires can create severe haze. Indonesia has permitted Malaysia to enter its airspace for cloud seeding operations, aimed at helping combat regional haze. But what is cloud seeding? Let us see its simple explanation. Cloud seeding attempts to encourage precipitation by introducing suitable particles into the clouds. What is the goal of this process? The goal of this process is to give or to bring more rain, potentially helping reduce smoke and haze conditions. This is a great example of how climate problems don't always stop at national borders. Air pollution and wildfire smoke can affect neighboring countries. Therefore, regional cooperation becomes important. RG Kar case and doctor safety. Now let us look at an important legal and social issue. The Supreme Court took suo motu cognizance of the rape and murder of a trainee doctor at R.G. Kar Medical College in Kolkata. The court also established a 9-member national task force to work on protocols concerning the safety of doctors and medical professionals. So, what does suo motu mean? This is a very important exam question. Suo motu means on its own motion. In simple words, the court takes up an issue on its own without waiting for a conventional petition from an affected party. Now let us see a question. What does suo motu mean? Government order, on its own motion, public referendum, and judicial review. The correct answer is on its own motion. So let us have a quick revision of what we have seen till now by revising everything in just 60 seconds. Number 1. India and China relationship talk between Ajit Doval and the China representative, which is the 25th Special Representative talks. Second, BRICS. Xi Jinping is expected to attend the New Delhi summit on 12th September to 13th September. But his visit should currently be described as expected, not confirmed. Third, GDP. Quarter 2 financial year 2025 to 2026, the GDP growth is 8.2%. Fourth, that is UPS, Unified Pension Scheme, effective from April 1, 2025. Medical education, that is fifth. Target is 75,000 additional medical seats. Sixth, renewable energy. Target is 500 gigawatt by 2030. Seventh, defense technology. Depopulous 5K and rotating detonation engine. Number 8, that is Navy INS Mangrol. Anti-Submarine warfare shallow watercraft. Ninth, Paradeep, that is of rupees 427.80 crore. 7 major projects. 10th, legal term suo motu, on its own motion. Now it is your turn. Don't look at your notes. Question 1. Who is India's special representative for the India-China boundary talks? S. Jaishankar, Ajit Doval, Rajnath Singh, or Amit Shah? The answer is Ajit Doval. Question 2. India's real GDP growth in quarter 2 financial year 2025-2026 was 5.6%, 6.8%, 8.2%, or 9.2%. The answer is 8.2%. Question 3. RDE stands for Rapid Defense Engine, Rotating Detonation Engine, Renewable Detonation Engine, or Rotary Defense Equipment. The answer is Rotating Detonation Engine. Question 4. What does ASW stand for? Air Security Wing, Advanced Sea Weapon, Anti-Submarine Warfare, or Air-Sea Warfare? The answer is Anti-Submarine Warfare. Question 5. Suo motu means on its own motion, by government order, by public vote, or through parliament. The answer is on its own motion. So, how many questions did you get right? 5 out of 5, excellent. 3 or 4, very good, but revise once more. 1 or 2, don't worry, that's exactly why we are here. Remember, current affairs isn't about memorizing hundreds of random headlines. It is about understanding what happened, why did it happen, and why is it important, and how can it appear in an examination. If this video helped you understand current affairs in a simple way, like this video, subscribe to AP Knowledge Point and turn on the notification bell. And comment below, I am ready for the next current affairs quiz. I will see you in the next video. So till then, Jai Hind.